talking about our community in Majdal Shams, we have to start with Mati. Okay, that's what we drink here. I think we are the only community that drinks Mati in Israel. I'm almost sure. We're Druze here, you know Druze, but there is Druze here in Majdal, in all the 4 villages in Golan, but we're the only Druze who drink Mati.
How did that come to be?
I don't know the story, but they say because we love to travel and we love to meet new people, not just now, in all the history of Majdal Shams people. So somebody may meet someone in Argentina who was there as a traveler, and they tried this thing and he bring it here.
Wow.
Just like apples and strawberries, we are the first community who started to plant it here before everyone.
Apples and strawberries.
Yes. So we like to try new things all the time.
Okay, so this is specific to Majdal Shams.
We have 4 villages here.
Okay.
In the past, it was only 3. There's a new village called Masadi. These 3 villages, all Majdal Shams is the biggest, and it's if we're talking about community and culture, it's the main, the basic. Everyone just copy us, you can say. So we are the main village here. So cheers. It's not alcohol, but we can say cheers.
Yeah.
And welcome to Majdal Shams.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
You mentioned that there's an very interesting community here. I'd
Yes.
like to know a little bit more about it.
When we're talking about the Middle East, the first thing we think about is religion, because of all the conflict here. There are four religions here: the Christians, the Jews, the Islam, and we are the 4th. We are the smallest and the 4th. And we're not into that conflict. We're not into that conflict from the religion vision itself. We don't have to protect something in Jerusalem. We don't have to destroy anything. We have nothing to seek there. So all the time we lived here like a friends to everyone. No enemies, you can say. And that's also the same story happened before Israel in the French area when France and England were here. When they started the revolution in the Arabic Revolution in 1920 something, 23, 24, the man who was leading the revolution is also Druze. He's close to us from Syria, but he's close to. Yes, Sultan Al-Atrash. Who's with us? We have somebody here.
Abdullah, we're gonna turn down the volume.
Who's that, Abdullah?
Yeah, it's
We're
Abdullah.
streaming it to our community.
Yeah, so we have a live community,
That was a Jordanian community.
You're welcome.
yeah.
Okay, his name is Sultan Al-Atrash.
But
He's right.
just-
Abdullah, you know. Cheers, Abdullah.
Cheers.
Can I get some more water in here?
Oh yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, Abdullah, real quick.
So the main concept for the revolution, for what Al-Atrash made, he said, if we live here with the different cultures and different religions, the only solution we can make is when you get to your home, you close the door and you can pray whatever you want to pray, you can believe in whatever you want to believe, but that's inside your house. Whatever religion you have, Jews, the New Testament, the Old, whatever you want, but that was between you and your God. You don't have to prove it to anybody else. You do whatever you want inside your house. When you get out, we're all friends. So he said, religion is for God, land is for all. That was the main concept of the revolution. So even if there was the smallest community, the Druze, everybody just followed them. They take the charge. They lead all the Arabs there, the Christians and also the Muslims, and there were, I believe, a lot of Jews in Syria, that area before Israel. So we took that concept and we'll continue to take it everywhere, all the time. We just welcome anybody. We can be friends to anybody, and we don't have to get into any conflict. If it's not something that really we have to do it, it's not something we have to protect it or to fight for it. So we live here as witnesses. We live here, we see what's happening. A lot of things we see and we don't understand. Just like now, what today, in Israel, they just get more into Syria to take charge for safety there. They have to get to some areas that they have to protect the land of the Israel. We also don't know what's really happening there. So if today we see things that we don't understand, we can say that the same things maybe happened in history. There are a lot of things that are written, but the people didn't really knew what's going on. So the one thing we can say is to live and to just be friends to anybody. We have to welcome everybody, and everybody is welcomed here.
So yesterday we went to the shrine in Kfa 18 for the holiday. We spoke to some Druze there, and they said that part of our religion is to be loyal to God first and foremost, and then loyal to the king. In today's world, that means loyal to the state. So whether you are living under Israel, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, you're loyal to the government. Do you think that is that essentially what you're describing?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Listen, you have to be honored to God and to the land. If that's your house, you have to protect it. You have to protect it, and you have to stay here. We had twice, there was, we are 4 villages here. As I said, it was 3 in the past. There were 120 villages that are bigger than Majdal Shams, and all of them left. Just 3 villages stayed here.
Non-Druze. Druze?
All the non-Druze left. Majdal Shams before...
67?
Yes, Majdal Shams before 67, it was half Druze, half Christians. It was all the time living together. We lived together 200 something years. No conflict. We never hear any story about a big conflict or something that you write in history. There was never. They all the time were friends. They worked together. The Druze all the time were farmers, and the Christians was they worked in carpents, in wood, in stones. They built. They were those people who build, who do things, who use their crafts. Those always was the farmers, and they work together very good. If I build a house, you're Christian, I call you. We work together. If you need anything that from a farmer, we work together. In 1967, 117 villages just left. All of them left. Only the Druze stayed here. Now, today, we always, when somebody asks us, or we, as Majdal Shams people, think about that. Some people say we didn't leave because of the religion, because in our religion we have to stay in our lands, no matter what. We can die here. You can't leave. There is another story that said that we didn't left the houses because we have another Druze in Jalil. So they were in the army. The Jalil Druze were in the army all the time from 1948.
And you guys don't join the army?
We started now.
You started?
It will take time, but in the last 5-6 years, there are some people joining the army. When the things happening in Syria in 2011, a lot of people started to cut their. Some of the people always put the Shams to Syria. When the problems started to happen in Syria, there is no Syria, you can say. So that was started to cut this thing.
So from what I understood is the Druze in the Golan, most of them don't have an Israeli ID card, primarily for fear that if one day the Golans return to Syria, that there might not be backlash against them. Is that generally
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And so, do most people here still not have an ID card?
All the time, maybe 1% or 2% who had the ID card.
By ID, do you mean yeah,
Identity to Israel.
Just yeah, the typical Israeli.
Israeli. 1% or 2%. In the last 2 years, 3 years, it jumped to 30 something or 40% just in 2 years. Everything that happened to Syria, we have to adjust, and we started to see changes here immediately. Just what happened in December when Assad left, a lot of things changed here.
Right. So,
We're,
what, for example, which,
people just there are let's say 10% from 67 to now wanted to be Syrian. 10% wanted to be just Syrian, or let's say 20%, and 70% who, like me, we didn't want to belong to anybody. We don't care. We didn't take it very serious. I will fight for Israel, or I will fight for Syria. We know we are a very small community. We don't have any power in the politics. We don't have any power in the army. We have no power. We have to just live, you know.
right.
Some people say that even in the, let's say, the long history, in the past, Druze were in Egypt also, just like the Jews say. We still have buildings till now in Egypt. And because we were a very small community, you always have to be like hiding between the big community you live in, just to protect yourself. Because in any case, somebody who is Muslim and he believes that you have to be Muslim or you will die, and you can't live your religion, or you can't lie, you have to hide. You will still believe in what you believe, but you have to hide. So some people thought after 67 that we should use that same mythology here. We have not to hide, but you don't have to show it. You know, you can believe in whatever you want to believe. You don't have to show it. What you saw yesterday in Hittin is also new. This day, it's a religion day. It was also a thing that we don't celebrate it that long. That in that case, that what they do today. Maybe because of the Facebook, the Instagram, people started to.
It's bigger today.
Yes, it's very big. It's very big today. We always used to do our religious things, you know,
Right.
in closed doors.
And yes, this past weekend, for the first time in decades, Syrian Jews were come over. We understood that 7,000 asked for permission and 700 got permission, and families were reunited after so much time.
Yes.
That's exciting. So, are you guys excited about this new
Very,
potential?
very. I always say that about this answer, about this question. There are some people in Majdal that they have a very close families there, like brothers and sisters. What you say is so not just neighbors, you know. Some people have just their brother or their father or their sister there, you know. We're not talking about two communities that
Right.
not just close. It's families.
Can you explain how? How did that happen? Is it since '67? Do you mean the families split?
Yes.
So maybe parents who were born, who had children.
There are some people who were in the army there,
In the Syrian army.
in the Syrian army in
They have
'67.
children who were probably in the army here.
Yes, they have the children in, and the father just have to go back.
Oh.
So he's stuck there. There are some families who just like the Christians when they left, some Druze were living with the Christians in the houses, so they left with them, with his brothers here. Listen, all the time, or let's say from 1967 till maybe till 2000, a lot of people just thought that this thing is temporary. They always thought that maybe tomorrow Syria will be here.
Right.
In some place, I don't know if it was planned, but in some point, people here started to just stand in the two places. Some part of the community work for Israel. Some part of the community all the time, just if there is any celebration or something in Syria, there was a group of people here always join them just from afar, from here, just to show that we still believe in Syria. Not all of us. We need those guys because we didn't know what will happen. Because you see, change is very quick. What we see here, it very quickly changes. Things are changing very quickly. We can't control it. When something happens, we have to find our way.
So you said that maybe 10%, 20%, however many people would like Syria to be here. Right? They would like this to be Syria. Why?
Listen, we're talking about let's say the old people, maybe. The old people still think, not all of them, but a lot of them, because they lived there. They lived there and they know what is Syria. Someone like me, we're talking from 67, we are talking about 50 something years. Not just me, maybe even my father. We don't know what is Syria at all. We don't know. Me, personally, I wrote a book about the history of Majdal Shams, and I said it in a bold line, we don't belong to Syria and we don't belong to Israel. We lived in Syria maybe 10 years or maybe a few. Because from 1950 something till 1967, there was not really a government in Syria. There was a lot of problems. Even before, let's say, from 1925, after the French people left, till I don't know when Assad just took the government, but there was a long time that there was no country. No country, no government. Another reason why some people still think that we have to announce that we belong to Syria, when we talk about art, about culture, we can't really get involved in the Israeli thing because of the language and because of the politics of Israel. They said someone in 2018, this is a Jewish state. It's in law, the nation state law, which is a problem for the Jews. It's not a problem, but it's something that they announce it not just in their art, in the law itself.
It seems like most Jews weren't okay with that decision based on the
All of them,
conversation.
all of them.
Wait, I don't understand. What are the implications of the nation state law?
This state law says that this state belongs to Jews.
But what does that
Jews.
have to do with art?
We can't really connect with, let's say, if I'm now making novels, okay? I'm making movies. I'm making or in Arabic or in English. I don't really, I speak Hebrew very well. We all speak Hebrew very well. But it's not something we can easily use in our art. So you can say we don't have a place in televisions, we don't have place in newspaper, we don't have place in any place in museums. That's not the culture they want to mimic or to show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of us can, but it's also a problem because the language always plays its role. In Syria they speak Arabic. We speak Arabic, maybe a different Arabic, but we speak Arabic. So that's a part of it. Majdal Shams is a small village, maybe 10,000 or 11,000 people. We have here maybe 400 engineers. We have 100 architects. We have hundreds of doctors in a very small place. People here want to work, they want to try new things, they love to travel. We have a lot of artists here. We have now movies in Hollywood from Majdal Shams, people from Majdal Shams. In Europe, we have a lot of people, directors, authors, musicians. We have a lot. We love to discover this world, to try to understand what it's all about, and we like to show it just to connect to other people. Because we have another problem that I didn't mention yet. We are in very far, we are the north of the north of Israel, To Syria we can't go, to Lebanon we can't go. We feel, disconnected from everybody. Anything you want to do, you have to try to travel 2 hours. So we're trying to use YouTube, to use the social media, to use art, just to connect to new friends, to new people, to show us, to listen to, just like we're doing now, to live, to experience. So we need art, and we can't find it, we can't show it as we want in Israel.
So you don't consider yourself Israeli?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself anything,
Just Druze?
not even Druze.
Not even Druze?
In Majdal Shams, we have Druze, okay, just like in Jalil. In Jalil, you can't drink beer in the street. We have here in this small village maybe 20 bars. We live as a village and as a city at one time. We don't just look to each other what others doing, just like in villages. No rules. You don't have to show anything. You don't have to respect anything. We respect, but you don't have to respect a day or a neighbor or what he do or what he like. We live free, very free. There is a big community of rock and roll also here,
So,
which is very something special and different
right.
from other groups.
So it would be fair to say that Majdal Shams is more secular than a lot of other Druze towns.
Yes.
So would you say it's split? Some people are more traditional, and some people are a little bit more secular, like yourself.
The Druze thing, it's not. There's nothing you have to show. Nothing you have to do with others in the Druze community. You can do it in whatever you want. There's nothing in your daily basis that you have to do as a Druze. You don't live as a Druze, but it's not something you live. There's no mission you have to do.
Right.
So we all live the lifestyle,
Right.
and we don't not in the like the other. There are some Arabic big communities like Al-Faham or these places, not villages.
I would
A
maybe
big.
put it a little higher.
There are some big cities of Arabic people, Muslims or Druze, but they still live as a small community, as a village.
Right.
They always watching each other, what he do, what he didn't do. You can't drink, your daughter can't marry this guy. We don't have this. We live as a total city, That's the interesting thing
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Fascinating.
It's very quick for you to invite us in
Yes.
and to give us your time and to sit in front of a camera in the audience and be able to share. Is there a lot of interest that you feel from the Israeli culture or from the rest of the world to come and speak to you and to learn about your culture? How do you feel?
Yes, I think you can learn peace from our culture. You can learn it, you can see it, you can even feel it. We're not just friends here with other people. Even let's say if I go to a university, I just were 5-6 years there. Wherever you see Druze, not all the time, but we see it in a lot of times. A Druze in Haifa, let's say, in the university. A Druze in Tel Aviv. I was in Ariel, which is a Jewish place inside
Right. Yeah.
Palestine. I don't know
It's
it.
the first city,
Yes.
first Jewish city built.
We never look at people at their religion. We never. We don't have this thing that he is Christian, he is this, he is Jew. Okay, we all live as human beings at the end of the day. We never had any wars here. Even before Israel, I told you we were the smallest community here. We never, just once I heard about in the history, some little conflict between Druze and some other people. It was something that's, pointed small.
Right.
We lived with Muslims, we lived with Jewish all the time. We lived with the Christians 200 years. And we all can do that.
What do you think the world can learn from the Druze philosophy?
Not the Druze,
Well,
the Majdal Shams, let's say,
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
something
let's go
else.
with that, yeah.
Listen,
I didn't know how to ask the question.
Listen.
I know.
I'm now. You heard about the event that happened here about
The rocket.
the rocket? 12 people children who died. I'm now writing a movie about that, about what happened after that. Because what happened, what the event was here, let's say the reflect or the how people respond to that, you can never see it in any place in the world. You can never see it. It was something very special here. We, let's say like my age, I'm 34 now. I didn't live in 67 or like this, but in that day I understood everything that happened here. My movie that I'm writing now, it's because I want to answer your question. It's called Town with No Flag. We are a town that have no flag. We don't consider ourselves not Spanish, not French, not Italian, and we see it stupid to look at people like that way. Look at Europe, how many wars was. Look at now America and Canada, China and USA, Russia and what's happening? Let's say, okay, Russia and the USA, it's very far. Okay, China, USA, it's very far. But Europe, what's the difference between an Italian and a Spanish? We see it, we feel it. We are now 55 years living without any flag, without any government, without any identity. I just identify myself as a human being, as a friend. And I always say that whatever you do reflects who you are. Whatever you believe in. You don't have to carry any flag. It's just something that separates us. Flags are just a way to separate two people. Just you think you are Spanish and you are Italian, but you're not. It's all new.
Especially if you imagine, like, if there's a Spanish and a French person, but they live right by the border.
Yes,
How
great.
different are they?
I'm trying to figure out how that type of philosophy kind of scales when you have a lot of people. Because I picture maybe at some point, if this is big enough, there's enough. If you were 100 times bigger, more people, more Druze. At some point, one person says, "We are the Druze. We have to be pride. We have to have a flag," and then rallies everybody. Or is there something that you think is very deep in the DNA of the culture that makes it so that you all kind of believe in that thing and you're immune to the rabble rousing, you're immune to somebody just trying to make you passionate about it? And if so, how does that propagate from generation to generation?
It's very deep in our DNA, and there was not just once, it happened a couple of times, that somebody tries to announce that we are this, we are that, we are Druze, we are that. Even we, let's say the young people, we just used to calm things down. We don't follow you. We will not follow you. We have this, a lot of people try to do that. Religion people or old people or I don't know why. We are Druze, we do. We used to calm things down. We will never follow people like this.
How? How do you just refuse? You refuse to buy into it?
I think the question is, let's say that the population grew a lot, like 2 million people, then do you think that it would stay the same, or how do you think that the society would evolve and grow with more and more people?
It's hard to see how it may happen in millions, but I think it will stay the same. I'm sure. If we look at black people in America, we have almost the same case. They bring their voice to the world by their art. We live, okay, we're not the Native Americans, but we have our place here. We have our rights, after Abraham Lincoln. And they didn't just use the law. When Abraham Lincoln gave them in the law that you can live as a white people, they didn't just stop there. They used their art, they used their voice to connect to other people. So I think it's the good thing here that we don't have a leader. We have a leader, but not really a leader, you know. We have leaders in the religion place. We don't really. We follow them in the. If there's something very, we need to protect something, or we sometimes listen, but we're not following anybody. When that rocket happened, there was no leader, and people themselves just knew how to deal with it.
And I heard when that the rocket fell, that tragic day, Netanyahu wanted to come, and the leaders here said, no, we don't want you to come.
Not the leaders, the people themselves. Not all the people. I will tell you why. In the daily basis, we have no problem for people to. They come all the time.
Right.
Maybe now they're here. In that day specifically, there were some people trying to announce that people in Golan wants a war with Lebanon.
They were politicizing the
Yes.
tragedy.
The parents of the children didn't want anybody, any politician, not whoever who is Lebanon or Israel, Syria, no, everybody. They didn't want anybody to use the souls of those children for any war. We don't have media. We don't have any strength, any power anywhere. The only, I think, I wasn't there, but I think people, they had to use this thing to tell Netanyahu not to come here or to make a little conflict with them, just to show that we don't want any war. If we don't have our media, we don't have our place to connect to the people, or to, let's say, we don't have any way to tell the Lebanese people that we're not announcing any war. So that was our only way to show. And people just said, okay, now we have it. It was the second biggest tragic thing in this war after the October 7th.
Right.
7th.
Right.
This day it was,
Deadliest day.
yes. So people just thought, let this thing just pass, and you can come after that, but not that day, you know.
Right. Do people in Majdal Shams vote for the election for the prime minister?
Only a few,
Only a few.
yes,
Small amount.
yes. Because if you don't have the ID, the Israeli ID, you can't vote.
Oh, you mean the two Zut. Okay, interesting. And we spoke about October 7th and all that. What are your views on Israel-Palestine?
I know the first thing I would say that it will never stop.
You think there's no solution?
No solution. I always viewed the world as I viewed myself and as I view every person. We all have our own personal conflicts, and this is how the universe is built. I believe it's built that way. We have our good things, we have our bad things. Life itself has its own good things, and it has its own bad things. You know, sometimes I'm in arguing with my wife. She tells me, "Let's go to the USA. Just move." Why? It's safer. There's no war. Let's just go. You know, after that day of the rocket, she always, you know, not like just she. A lot of people just try to imagine. I'm making a family here. I'm making children. I can't protect them. It's something that comes from the sky, and we know this conflict will never end. So let's just move. I always say, wherever you go, nobody's safe. You know, nobody's. It's a personal feeling that you have to build inside yourself. I have a lot of friends in Italy. I love Italy. I love the culture itself. They always tell me how safe Israel is before the war. They tell me it's very safe. No mafia. No. I said every place has its own things. California, just months ago, that fire. every place has its own problems, Nobody is safe. This conflict, I don't know how true it is about Jerusalem. I always thought that in every community, if it's, we also see it as a holy place, Jerusalem. We see it as a holy place. But because it's a holy place, we have to protect it, all of us, from hate. Not from rockets, not from Muslims, not from Jews. Just protect it from hate. Let it be clean, let it be white, let it be a place to relax, to find God inside yourself. There. Not to make wars. That's what we see. I believe this will never end. And I always thought that nobody knows really the truth. I can't say this side should win, or this side should win. No one really knows. We just have to live it.
What kind of resolution would you like to see, if you could see one? Like one state, two states? Do you think about that sometimes?
Yes, I think about that all the time, actually.
Well, yeah.
Listen, in Israel itself or in Jerusalem itself, okay, you can find solution of two countries, but the problem is that all this conflict is not in the city itself. It's in a very small point, the Al-Aqsa and what's happening under that. So you can't solve it.
Interesting. So for you, it's more so, you think the most complicated thing is really the fact that the holiest site for Jews has Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the third holiest site for
Yes.
Muslims, so no one's going to compromise on that. So you think that specifically is
Yes.
irreconcilable?
Yes. You can't fix it. We're talking about a religion that is thousands of years, both of them.
Right.
People just start to, maybe they are looking to the wrong image, the children themselves, the Muslim or the Jews. But it's something that you're just transporting, and just taking to a new generation. They believe it to the bones. Even if it's wrong, you can't solve it. Maybe I can understand that because I live a little far from that. But a Muslim or a Jew, I don't think you can just convince one of them to believe in something else or to leave it. They believe it in the bones. And even before that, if you look at the Christians, they have a very, I don't remember the name. They have the church there. How it's called?
Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Yes, it's very close. It's there.
Yeah.
And it says something, not just the Muslim and the Jewish. It's also the Christians there, which says something, a lot of things. Why there? Why in that specific area? It's very complicated.
God knows that.
Yeah, what strikes me as interesting about your take is the focus that you place on the religion. And when we speak to a lot of Palestinians, sometimes they push back when we say that it has these religious components that are very dominant, because they think that it has to do with the nature of their society, just Palestinian society, having to absorb an overwhelming number of foreigners, like these Jews. And so they think it has more of some of them have said that it takes on more of an ethnic kind of, or a values dimension. What sounds so interesting is that I don't know if that would have made a difference to the Druze community, because you're already a minority. Whether you're a minority in a majority Muslim population or a minority in a majority Jewish population, it doesn't necessarily change your position. And so then the relevant factor seems to be the religious one. Is that how you see it?
No, what I'm trying, maybe it's me personally. I always speak about that because that's really the core of everything. Maybe some people in Palestine try to say that they have their own values, but the core of everything here is religion. Not just here. I don't see any politics here. People say Netanyahu, they say Abu Mazen, Assad. There's no politics. It's only religion. Because we know who is leading these things in closed doors. It's religion. In the end of the day, we're not happy about that, But that's really the core of all this conflict. We can't hide it. We can't just lie, That's the core. That's the core. And in here in Majdal, it's another thing. I think the whole world can learn from us. What I just wanted to say, I just forgot.
You're talking about religion.
I wanted to say, we live here. We live here 55 years without any identity, without any flag, and we can live. Sometimes, if you meet any guy from Majdal, and he tell you, and you just talk to him, he will tell you that our problem is that we don't have any identification to any country. We don't belong to countries. I don't see this as a problem. We're living here, and it's not really safe. We don't know what can happen in any hour. But I think that's what gives meaning to my life. Okay, we have problems, but that's a part of the meaning that we feel I'm alive. Okay, maybe the whole problem in Jerusalem, it's a part of life. I always see it. Maybe it's something we don't have to solve. I hope we can solve, but maybe it's not. I always believe that we as human beings, there are some questions that we will never find answers to, but still we have to think about them, and we have to seek. We have to seek those questions. I have some questions that I wrote 4 novels just trying to answer, and I will never answer. I don't want to answer, but that thing itself, that you are seeking something, makes you alive. Makes you alive. Okay, I don't belong to Israel. I don't belong to Syria. Okay, but I feel alive, And I have the conflict inside me. There are some houses here in Majdal that maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 brothers. 2 of them have the Israeli I don't know ID, and 2 they don't have, and they live in the same house. Their parents and themselves living that conflict, and me. We feel that conflict all the time. Do I have to serve the Israeli army? Do I have to wait to Syria to come back? Do I have to wait for this man? Do I have to wait for this event? Will this happen? Will this not happen? I don't know what will happen. And I'm always confused. I think about that every day. But as I said, I feel alive, I have problems, but I feel alive. So maybe that's one of the things, the core things that makes, let's say, gives an engine to our world.
Can I ask you about one of these problems? So yesterday when we went to visit the tomb Itol, they spoke to us about some of the challenges of getting land permits. They said sometimes that's very difficult for our community to get. You're an architect. Is there something you can tell us about either the process or the difficulty or the importance of trying to get these permits? What are they talking about? What are they referring to?
You're talking about to build houses? Yes, it's very hard here. Listen, I think it's a part of the Israeli politics. It's a part of that, maybe. Those people who told you this thing, because I'm an architect, I will give you the other point, the other perspective. We have a lot of places to build, and we have a lot of opportunities to take. We just don't know how to use them. Why? Because they gave us, let's say, a plan or laws how to build, structures, and instructions how to build. But because it's a very old place, it's a little hard to just really build them. We have the permanent here to build like in a city, 8 stores. You have the permission to build 8 stores here, but because it's very old, it's a little hard to some people to really make it.
No,
I will tell you.
You can build up, but not out.
Yes, in the politics itself in our place in Majdal,
the politics in Majdal.
I wanted to say that there are some offices that give you how to build. Okay, from the government, they look at us as a city. That's the problem. We want it. We want that. Some people want that, but it's hard to really make it because of the old houses. People here connect to their houses. It's not easy for them to destroy a house and to build a new building.
So when they say permit, do they mean the government in Jerusalem saying you are allowed to build or you are not allowed to build? Is that what they're saying? Or they're saying in order for you to build a new building, it can't go horizontally, it can't be too wide, it needs to be much taller, and then to build a taller building, you need the permission of the people on the ground.
Yes.
And oftentimes
that's the problem.
Politics.
That's the problem.
So
I will tell you. Listen, in 1982, anybody told you about that day?
That's when
the Golan law?
when Israel entered.
Yes, people just refused. I don't know why, but they just refused. Refused
Refugees.
to concern Golan as an Israeli place.
The Golan law.
When that happened, the government, they just took everything about Golan to its own law in the permits and the buildings laws. They give it their own law. The problem here that the people own their lands. In Israel, you don't own your land. It's for the government. Okay?
You own the rights to use.
Not just to use. It's for you. It's private.
Here.
It's private. Yes, it's a private land. In Israel, nobody have a private land. It's all for the government. So they gave us our own laws. And when if you have, let's say, 4 old houses, okay, in a city, you want to just destroy them and build a higher, just like in New York, a higher place. Here you can do it. People just connected to their houses, everyone, and it's private. If I have my parents' house, or let's say my grandfather's house, I don't want to see it destroyed. Me personally, I saw it. Me, my father, my uncle, they just said yes. We destroyed our house. It was a little bit, close to the street. It was very old. We destroyed it and we built a building. But very few people do that. What the people wanted to say, there is new plans to just, let's say, to go wide, to have a bigger plan. If we build in a small village, they try to make it bigger, to give permits to build. But this thing took maybe 8 or 9 years. That's the problem.
But it takes so long because I'm just trying to understand the source of the difficulty here. Is the source that the local population has a strong say in how that land is going to be used, and when they don't want it to be used in the way that you want it to be used, that takes a long time? Or because the government in Jerusalem is dictating for you? Is it because of?
I see it that way.
You see it as the same?
Yes, because not just us. There are some other communities that have a few people, small communities. The government don't really give them their own rights that fast. There is a problem here for small communities.
Like Palestinian citizens of Israel.
No. I'm talking about Cherkessim. How you call it?
Cherkessim.
Yes. They're Israeli. They are not anti-Israel like us. But it took a lot of time for them to take any rights. We're just very far from the government. in the October 7th war, a lot of people, even Jewish, just started to say that everybody who was outside Tel Aviv or outside the center, we just your shield, and the government just served Tel Aviv. A lot of even Jewish was saying that. Kiryat Shmone or these small villages here, Jewish villages close to Golan, everybody just said that. We have no voice in the government, not just Druze, even the Jewish who live in the north. That's part of the problem.
Idea that the peripheries don't get as much
Yes,
attention
yes,
as city
exactly,
centers.
exactly. Druze and non-Druze.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more, like details about how the city is organized in terms of politics and, like you said that there's different parts within the city. Like,
In Majdal,
how does the system work?
it's a system that don't work, let's say. There's no system. We just wait from events and try to solve them. We don't create any event. We can't. We just try to live with the flow. One of the things you see in Majdal, every small thing is a conflict. Every small thing. Every small decision, every small event, we have people who say yes, people who say no. And we have to continue with that. We live this from 67 to today.
Can you give an example?
Yes, just like what you say yesterday in Hittin. Some people say yes, some people say no. There are some.
Whether to go there? Or
Yes. Oh, no. To go there, if you want to go, you can
Yeah.
go. Whether to make it a big day,
Oh,
big
whether
deal
it's
in media.
holiday.
Yes,
Okay.
if it's something we have to show or not.
Mm.
To join the Israeli army. Some people say yes, some people say no. There are some dates for Syria, like a day offs, for Syria
Yeah.
that they celebrate.
Like Syrian holidays?
Yes. Some people here consider it as a day off. Some people just don't belong to that.
Okay. I would
That's
take
all.
any holiday I can get. You give me the Syrian ones, the Jordanian ones.
I work in all this, so I think it's very holy to work in those days.
Oh, yeah.
When people are not working, it's good to me. Just like yesterday, I was working.
Okay.
Just even in that rocket day, it was also a small conflict here. Every small thing here,
How was it a conflict?
shall we see it as, when Netanyahu came here, shall we welcome here? Because not all the people was against that.
Right.
Some people, a lot of people just welcomed him. That was also a conflict.
So how's it normally resolved?
We just leave it to God.
It
We-
seems like everyone kind of just does their own thing.
Yes,
And they
exactly.
accept when it's not.
We never just go to a place, a meeting, and decide let's do this or that. And we never listen to a man. Never. It's a little, spontaneous here.
Every meeting you agree to disagree and part ways as friends.
We don't meet at all.
You meet at the bars.
In general, every Arabic place, Arab village or a city, there is a leader. Here we don't have it.
No leader. No, is there a
So-
mayor?
No,
No.
no,
How's
no,
the
no, no.
community organized in terms of like transportation and medical care and schools?
We always find our ways with our local people in everything, almost everything. We are a hardworking people. We have dreams. We have goals. We don't, as I said, we lot of doctors, lot of engineers. We try to, just like what happened in the rocket, hundreds of doctors were there from Majdal. We just try to fix the things we can fix and to do what we have to do. Even in medical things, we the local people, just solve the problems. It's just like in transportations or things like this. It's a little hard here because we are a little bit far, in work, let's say, or in business, we are the customers of ourselves, we are the suppliers of ourselves. It's not an open place. We are in the north of the north. We are far from the cities. You can't find. It's hard to find new customers, let's say. So we have to do our own things in our way, just to find a way, you know.
Mhm.
Just like as I said in the old
So
days.
there's companies where people like organize buses, for example, and it's just a private company.
There are some private companies, and in the last few years, which just they gave us they connect some 3 or 4 buses.
The government.
Yes, from Kiryat Shmoni to Katsrin.
And then to get around the city, do most people just have
Yes,
cars?
but inside the city, you have nothing to use.
Yeah. So it's just cars.
Just cars and walk.
Mm. And with school, it's just
You have to walk.
organizes it?
You have to walk.
Huh?
You have to walk for school, or
You
car.
walk to school.
No, but like to organize the schools, it's not by the government.
No, it's by the government.
It's
Yes.
by the government.
Yes. Sometimes people try. I think 3 or 4 years, some group of people just try to make some changes in the what we learn in history here is about the Islamic history, which we have our own history. Most of the people here have no idea about our history. I know it because I made a research for a book, but almost nobody know anything about our history. Nobody knows. We sometimes voted or said that we have to use that on our a week class of history in our high school to teach about Majdal Shams, the history of Majdal Shams. But you can't bring it because of the government and the laws itself. You know, there is something basic thing that you have to teach. Languages here, we start to learn at a very early age, English, Hebrew, and Arabic, which in other places in Israel they don't study these 3 languages, which is good for us.
You're living as a minority among Jews, among Israelis, or among Israeli Jews. Is there something that you think you can see about Israelis, Jewish Israelis, that you can sort of like share with the rest of the world? Something that you can almost hold up a mirror, because maybe just not being a Jewish Israeli, you could see something that maybe Jewish Israelis might not be able to see. Or maybe you could talk about them in a way that Jewish Israelis, it wouldn't be sincere if they said of themselves.
Listen, I always viewed Israel as a legend. Legend. You know, as we speak about Druze as a minority, Jewish in the whole world are the minority. They came here between all these Arabs, and they made a small country, and they knew, and they are able to protect it and to make it very, very, very under control between all of this. Which is, look, if you speak about that in a very far place to children, he will tell you this thing is impossible. To bring Jews here between their enemies, let's say, I don't see them as an enemies personally, but the local idea, the global idea. Let's say you have enemies now, 10 or 20, and you are one. To go there between them and to be very protected, and you are the only one who knows what's going on between them, looks like impossible. The Jews just made it. I think they made it because they work hand to hand. I have a little obsession with Italian mafia stories. I read the books, I see the movies. I like this. I love these stories, and I think there is a lot of things you can learn from it. In every book you read, somebody mentioned the Jewish mafia in the USA, where was 5-6 families. Yes, this is the only mafia that you don't read anybody that it was a rat between them. In every family you read the book, like John Gotti, those people just don't Louisiana, those families, in every book you read, you find a rat. Let's say you have a family, a mafia family, you are very big, you have a lot of power, but somebody within your family is just working with someone else. The Jewish in Israel, or even before Israel, they were loyal to each other, I think. They were in the Germany, in Europe, they were, let's say, a weak society, and now they are a strong society. In both ways, we never saw, how you call a rat, a man who is...
Like a snitch.
Yes.
مشتاق, right? مشتاق Golan.
كان ما شو كله. Something like this.
Snitch.
You don't see that. In Arabs, you see a lot.
Interesting.
It's very interesting, and I think this is the only thing that we have to, let's say,
Improve on.
to just announce that they somehow they deserve what they got today, power. They somehow deserve it.
The Jews, you're saying.
Yes, they are hand to hand in money, in business, in Wall Street. Sometimes they just support each other. They always say. I sometimes read books about business. A lot of people just talk about how the Jewish community works. If you work with them, and they maybe will win at something, you will also win with them. You will get something. They don't just leave you. They don't find their own ways, and they just leave you, just like the, let's say, other communities may do. I always view them as I see in history, the old history, even in the Europe area before the World War II. Now, in that area of when the mafia was in New York and in USA, I never heard about anybody who just not loyal to Jews. They work hand to hand, and this thing, let's say, is enough for any community to make any vision they have. Any vision we have, if we really can work hand to hand, we can make it. This is what I see. I always viewed Israel.
So, I have another, unless you guys have a question related to that.
I think we should do maybe yours and then one final one.
Yeah, and there's one in the community also. Well, there's two, but we can just do one.
You can ask the community question. Yeah. Unless it's not
What's your
there.
view on religion? Because you clearly believe in God, but can you elaborate on your belief?
I think every religion or every book that 100 people read it and all of them understand the same thing is wrong. Any philosophy we may talk about, I must see it as I can see it, which is sometimes related to my history, to my beliefs. You have to see, let's say a movie, okay? Sometimes you make a movie with an open ending, okay? You get out of the cinema, you understood some concept and you saw something else. I can't believe that a book, whatever religion is it, we can let's say the Bible, okay? There are a lot of sentences you can read, and everybody just view it as a different way. This is philosophy. If you can think about philosophy, it's not something we can all understand. I can understand it in related to my views and other things, or to my history, or to my events I had. I don't believe in that. If let's take 1,000 people, let's read that book, and it says 1, 2, 3, and let's go. Can't happen. And there's another problem, especially in Jewish and the Muslims, that they always follow a man or someone. If you follow someone, he gives you instructions, but by what he can observe from that book, which maybe you can observe something else. I don't think we have more than one religion. If we think about I try to sometimes to read the Bible, the Old Testament, the New, the Muslim book, the Quran. No, not all. I think we all believe in the same things, but we just give it another names. Some people say, well, the universe will give me 1, 2, 3. Others say, God will give me 1, 2, 3. I don't know, will give me 1, 2, 3. Okay, we believe in the same things, everybody. But we just give it another names. I don't see it as 3 or 4 religions. Another thing, in every religion in every community you get in, no matter the religion, you will find good people, you will find bad people. So it's not really the religion that you announce that you believe in that will make your personality. It will never affect it. You have your own perspective for life. You will have your own perspective on people.
And what is your view on God?
I'm sometimes confused about, is it just God or even the devil? Because we feel it inside of us, everybody, or as I said, the universe itself. We really see the two powers, we feel it. So that's one problem in religion, that they say that it's only God, and God gives instructions to the devil sometimes, because I don't know, but is it really one power or two? Is it just the white or the black? Is it just one power that built all this universe and also built the devil, or is it the other way? I think about God, I always thought that he don't exist today. I think he built the universe. Some people, they said God built the world and left. I don't believe that. I believe God built that world, and after that he separates himself into all of us. Every one of us have some little image of God inside himself, and he can find it. And another thing, just that somehow prove that, as we said about the Jews, if a lot of people really can connect to each other, they can feel something from the Creator, because they can, let's say, connect some parts from God. They will have a bigger part. I believe he just makes the world as it is, and he separates himself in every one of us. And I'm sure there is no other place you can find him. Not above, not below, just here. Yes, I always thought that.
We have a couple of questions from community questions. So, one person says, do you consider yourself to be an anarchist?
To be what?
Anarchist.
Can you just...
It's the word anarchist.
Anarchist. I think literally it means a person that doesn't believe in states.
I don't believe in states.
No
No
government.
government.
I don't see they making any difference. Listen, let's talk about, let's view it in a very simple way. The global warming, okay? Global warming. All the governments in every country, they can find you if you have a little, have a problem with your car. You are making a problem for the global warming. You are not legal. But a big factory, it will work. Okay? If this little thing, to save nature, the governments, in all the countries, they're not even trying to solve it, which they can. I'm sure they can. They can solve this thing. They can make a law that everybody have to respect. If this, let's say, the plastic factories, if it's really affecting that our earth, I'm sure they can stop it in 1 minute, but they don't want. Violence, they can solve it in 1 minute. They don't want, or they can't. I don't know, but they're not really making any good system. They're not trying to solve any problem. I don't think so. Let's look about at the universities. If you go today on YouTube's or on books, everybody just saying that universities in every country, just even in architect, they just keep studying the same old things, which have to be replaced. They're not trying. I don't see any government just trying to give any things for humans, for human rights, or for the nature itself. I don't think so.
So how do you think that it should be approached?
That's a hard thing to because listen, as I said, we have our wrong side, our bad side. If let's say we just somehow, I think there's a very obvious thing to solve. Let's say people can share in a democrat countries, in Israel, in the USA, they have the right to vote to somebody. Okay, we feel democracy in that day. Only in that day, even in Israel, we feel democracy in that day when we have to go to vote. Why don't we vote for everything? Let's say we are having a problem of, let's say, the global warming. Okay, we can solve it by closing the plastic factories. We can make a big pricing tax for plastic. We have, let's say, 10 solutions. Okay, why don't they give people to vote? They don't give. You have to vote for somebody, and after that you have no right in the government. Your voice just don't fit in there, don't get there even. If they just give, I think, I don't know if it can happen someday, just give the world a place to think together and to listen to each other.
Like in America, we have propositions that you can vote for, and that's like ban this tax, or tax us so that there can be some funding for a climate change initiative, and you can vote on propositions within your own town, and you can vote on propositions. Well, yeah, it's primarily voting for policy within your own town. But the problem with it is that a lot of the time money gets involved in it, and then people just pay a lot of money. For example, we had one where it said that Uber drivers and Lyft drivers should be contractors rather than full-time employees. And when they're not full-time employees, then they don't get benefits like insurance and other things. But because Lyft and Uber really didn't want them to become full-time employees, because that cost them a lot of money, that they poured millions and millions of dollars into campaigns to influence how people thought about it. Great.
So you said there that people are taking decisions. I think it's great, I think that's the only thing that we can really make our world a little bit better. And some other thing, just I had talked in the beginning about black people in America. I think we have to give more permission to artists to talk. Let's say the government has $5 billion to give. They give $3 billion to streets and constructions, $1 billion to, I don't know what, school, and they give $1.5 billion to movie makers. Why? I think they must give, not just about money, let's say, they have to give more focus on that. Because in some places, art, you can understand things that you cannot talk about. And what's good thing in art, that there's no language. I can see, let's say, a painting for someone from France that I don't have to speak French to understand it and to observe it. I sometimes listen to music, French music. I have no idea what she's talking about, but I like it, I feel it, I think those two things, to give people to listen, there is a lot of really gold mines in that world that they don't give their opinion. There's a book for Henry Ford. It's called My Life and Business. Henry Ford is one of the big minds, and he bring a lot of changes to that world. He started the book. I don't know if you read it. He said we need less government in the business and more business in the government. I think it's great. It's really great because if you look at business today, they give a lot of solutions, not from the government, from business itself, from people. People who want to work, like Tesla or those companies. People want to work. They want to work. They want to make difference. They want to make new things. They like to solve problems. We don't need 3, 4, 5 people from the government to do that. Just give the rights and give let's say, just listen to those people. Find them and listen to them. I hope we can someday get to that point.
Couple of last questions. We'll go quick. They say if the federation solution was implemented, so let's say we had maybe one big state, kind of like in the U.S., different states or different cantons. Say we have the West Bank and then the center and maybe Gaza. Each one would be different.
Golan would be its own state. The state of Golan is part of the Federation of Israel-Palestine.
Yeah. So then they ask if the Golan Heights or the Golan would be its own kind of state. Do you think that people would like this?
We were always against that.
You were always against it.
Always.
Even as part of a bigger kind of one country with different states within it. And the Golan is a state within the bigger country.
Kind of like
we were always against that, and we will stay on that opinion.
You would be against it. Why?
There was at some place somebody tried to make that. Okay, it was he's called Henry Gouraud. He was a general in the French army. He said he will make a federation, for Druze, for Alawis, for Sunni Islam, for Jewish, for this, for that. He said he want to do that to protect the Christians in Jerusalem. The first people who said no was Druze. Because we believe it's not good for anybody. We don't have to be, we don't have to be separated that way. Not just us, all the world. We don't see it as a good thing, and we still, even today, refuse to see it as a separated place. We can just connect.
Last question here. What's your view on the new Syrian leadership, and what do you think is the view of the Druze in Israel? How are Druze people seen? This is how I take it. And if I'm misinterpreting your question, feel free to rephrase it. But yeah, what's your view on the new Syrian leadership and
Al-Julani and Al-Julani means from the Golan, right?
They say he was born, close to Golan in the Syrian side.
Okay.
We don't know how true is it, Listen, he has his past. He has some religion views, for the ISIS. They say, I don't know if it's true. I don't really tracking those news. I don't really care. I care, but I can't really know what's going on. We always say that the best thing to do is just to stay away from religion, not to get religion into the government. It's bad for everyone. And Druze there, I think they are a little bit afraid of that because it's not good for them, not good for anybody. About the new government, I have to say that I don't know what's going on. I really don't know, and I think nobody knows. How do
you think that the rest of the Israelis look at the Druze?
They always say there is some religious, little bit close to Druze. I don't know how, but maybe for Yitro. They say they also believe in him. I don't know. Druze are always loyal. If you, they're loyal to their place, to their state, let's say. It's almost, from 48 to 70 something years, Israel. Druze are in Galil, are serving the army, 70 something years. A lot of people died there. A lot of Jewish people also died that they have a Druze friend in the army. Just like here in Majdal, there's somebody who was a very close friend to Netanyahu. And in some place at some war in Lebanon, he just he just fell, Netanyahu himself. And that Druze friend who just helped him, he was very close. So I think somehow they viewed both of them as friends because of private things, private events.
Interest.
Yes, it's private, because if you have a friend, no matter what religion you have, if he just got some injury or something, you have to. He's a friend for you. You sometimes, if you have, let's say, 10 times friends that are, let's say, Christians, and they are good to you, you will see just, this is how people view it, Those people are good. If you now go to some new village, and you have had some little small event that you don't like it, you will view that village all the time as a bad place, So I think there is a lot of private events that took place and just got its own role on that thing. Before 82, me as a young guy, when I made that research, I was a little shocked that someone told me that today Druze and Jewish are friends here, and even Muslims, but because we have a lot of Jewish that are close here, very, very close. Some Jewish villages next to our village. Someone told me that before 82, the relationship between Druze and Jewish was even stronger than today. Before someone just announced this place should be an Israel. I don't know why really that conflict happened and why they really, was against that. But before that, they were living each other and everything was good.
Last question, and then chat, we should put this here. Have you heard of the Lebanese Druze leader, Walid Jumblat? And it seems like he thinks that Israel is exploiting the situation in Syria. Have you heard anything like that?
No. Listen, I think in what's happening in Syria for almost 14 years, you don't need any external thing to explode things. It's already the place is ready to any event. It's you're talking about people who 15 years they don't have food to eat. It's very hard, and it's very complicated there. It's very nothing is under control. I don't really think that you need any external power to make changes. And there are a lot of people who have benefits for that, ISIS and the other communities. And also we have to always look about the what's going on around Syria, in Iraq, in Turkey, in Iran. There's a lot of problems there, and I'm sure it will affect it, Even Russia, they say they have something there, army or something. If we were talking about Walid Jumblat, his father, Kamal, He was one of those people who just refused to make the Middle East more territories like this. He refused that. We, and not just we, there's a lot of people that read his books, Kamal Jumblat, he's not just a thinker, he's a philosopher, you can say. We follow him, not follow him, but we follow his visions, I think. And he talk a lot of about humanity, which we like it, and we believe in it. He's like a spiritual man. I think we can learn a lot of things from him. Not just us, all the world can learn it. For Walid, I don't really watch the news. I don't really know what he is saying, but I don't know.
I guess final, what would be your message to the world in just a few sentences?
I think we must follow our dreams, everybody, and let everybody else follow his own dreams. If there is one message I want to say, let's just drop flags. We can drop them. We almost 55 something years living without any flag, and we feel human. We can connect to any other human. Religion, as I said, we can't erase it, but you can do in your own house whatever you want to do. When you open your door, you get out, you meet any neighbor, anybody. You don't have to talk about that, and you don't have to prove anything to him. Let's take our religions in our house, and outside we can live just together in peace.